having a chat all about cost of goods. And for anyone that doesn't know, this is what I call a Sunday chat. And every fortnight we come on here, we have a chat about something about business or what I'm up to, but usually it's about business, some tips, tricks, and then of course you can ask any questions that you like. So today we are going to be talking about cost of goods because it is so important to be able to sell your product. You don't want to ask somebody else, what to charge. You really want to know what you should be charging for yourself. Because that is super duper important to understand the cost of goods, and then you can make money, because without that you may be charging too little or too much, and you just need to understand what you want to charge. And it's not about what I would charge or someone else, but more about what you're going to charge for your products. So today I'm going to go through a few lists that I've got down the sides. So first of all, we're going to talk about what actually is a COG. Now, a COG means a cost of good. So when we say cost, it's not what the customer pays. This is about you. So for instance, if you are going to make this gorgeous little bath bomb, you need to know about the materials, all the tools, all the things you got to use. Now, a cost of goods is not just about the materials that goes into this. It's also about your time. There might be electricity, tools, equipment. Like, equipment doesn't last forever, it runs out. So all of these things come into it. But if you're like me, when you start, you sort of think, how do I actually know how to charge this? Because it's easy to say, okay, add up all your materials and divide it by how many products that you've made. So in my batch here, for instance, I made 8 bath bombs. So I know what my cost is for the materials I've made, but that's not the only thing you need to calculate. There's lots of things such as boxes, such as, like I said, materials. I'm using a KitchenAid that won't last forever. That will eventually, die, take a long time, but I'm using electricity to make this as well. I also have a studio. So if you have rent or anything like that, even if you're using 1 bedroom in your home, you need to calculate, how much would that usually cost. So pretend that's like your rent. So if you have a home, for instance, that has 3 bedrooms, it costs $300 a week. Maybe you might say, okay, I'm going to say it costs $100 and add that into your cost. So today I'm going to teach you how to do all of that. Hopefully it helps. Hello from Idaho. I can't pronounce it. Idaho. Anyway, you know what I mean. I'm absolutely hopeless with names. But hello, my darling. I'm pretty sure you're from the US. Thank you for joining, because I know it is late in the evening in the US. But anyway, welcome, my love. And I'm a bit tired today. Hi, from Chicago. Hi, darling. How are you? So now let's get into it. We're going to start to talk about, like I said, the cost of goods. I've got my list to the side and so on. Now, like I said, when we talk about cost of goods, there's a few things we need to think about. Hello, Karen. Lovely. Welcome, my love. So you need to talk about materials, like your time, electricity, tools, equipment, boxes, designing, and of course, the main time it took you to make this. But for instance, look, now let's talk about, and I've got some examples for you to understand today. So if we have a soap like this, it looks pretty okay, doesn't it? Hi, from New Zealand. Hi, Denise. How are you, darling? So this looks pretty cool. It's a nice soap, but selling it like this with, is, even if you shrink wrap it or whatever, it's not going to get the kind of money that it's going to get if it's wrapped professionally in a, a box or a wrap. So that is the difference. Oh, hello, darling. How are you? Illinois, I think that is. The same as, you've got a shower steamer here or one like this. Much harder to get the money than it would be to get something like this, because it looks professional. It doesn't change the product, but what it actually does change is people's perception that it is worth more. So that's something to think about. And when we all start, I definitely didn't know all of that. But it's really, really important to understand that as well. So now I'll tell you how I basically do mine. So for instance, if we're going to make this bath bomb, as I said, I've got my whole mix, work out what your costs are, and, you're just going to add up everything you've used for that. Now, this is the most simple way I can give you to add up something. So like I said, we've got our cost of goods. Let's just pretend the cost of goods are $20. It's not, but let's just pretend that. So you're going to have $20. Now, what I do is say add plus 10%. So if it's $20 and then we're going to add plus, 10%, whatever that's going to be, which is, and then basically from that, so now we're up to 22. Now what I do is times that by 2, that is my wholesale, times it by 4, that is my retail. So generally that is what you're going to do. So if we go, for instance, we're going to times this by 4 for retail. Say you're selling on your site. So then, like I said, we've got $22 times 4. What's that going to be? $88. And then you're going to say divide that by 8 because we made 8 in that batch. And then there is your number. Now, a lot of people might say, well, that's really expensive. No one's going to pay $6 for a bath bomb. Well, to be really honest with you, that's just what you need to charge, because if you charge less, you might be making $1 or $2 a bath bomb. It's not enough. Not unless you're selling 20,000 bath bombs. But if you're just selling, 1 or 2 on a weekend or something, or you're at a market, it's just not enough money. So you've got to be realistic. And I'm going to give you an example this week. And as you know, I will never screenshot or say anything that anyone says. But I did have a comment from somebody, and they said to me, they said, they were quite amazed that my bath bombs were the price they were. And they were saying they only charge a couple dollars for their not bath bomb, for a shower steamer. So this is the shower steamer. I charge $8 and mine are 45 grams. And this is Australian money, remember. So in the US, that would cost maybe 6. I'm going to say maybe $6 US, something like that. But the one thing that is super important to remember, my cost of goods in Australia is very different to your cost of goods in America or England or wherever. Australia is a long way from everyone else, so we actually pay more in getting all of our things delivered to us. So that costs more. So for starters, my cost of goods compared to someone in the US is going to probably be double because of getting the materials here. And also, I've designed these. I've had to pay a couple $1,000s to have all of my packaging made. And I'm not just getting 10. I've got 3,500 boxes done because it's no good getting 10. It costs too much money. So that's also comes into your cost of goods. And, I might pay, for instance, $5 for a kilo of bicarb. You might pay $2. So then, your cost of goods is changing. So that's why I always say, it's nothing against that person. She's more than welcome to ask those questions, and I'm here to help. But I guess what I'm trying to say is my cost of goods is going to be different to somebody else's, and someone else might pay more than me. And I have seen bath bombs for $15 in Australia and shower steamers for $15 up to $19. So it just depends. So, I never complain about a price or anything. If I want to pay it, I pay it. That's it. I will actually look at the materials, and I'm more than happy to pay extra if it's made by a small maker. And I actually do buy from quite a few soap makers. So I just put in another order with Soy and Shay this week because my girls and I love some of the face creams and things that she does, and she did have a beautiful mask that I really loved. So I've ordered a couple times from there, and I will keep ordering because I can't make everything for myself. That's no fun getting no present for me. So sometimes I do that, and it's okay. So I guess that's what I'm saying. Also, when we're thinking about cost of goods, so I'm going to tell you something. Quite a while ago, I actually used to put all my things on my website, and it would say, if you spent $80, then you're going to have free shipping. But you've got to remember that free shipping usually would cost me, say, $15. So $15 out of $80 is a lot of money. It's like 20%. So this is the thing, everyone. We have to remember that unless you have calculated that to be within your cost of goods, that you can't do it. So now I do not give away free shipping at all. It's $9.95. That's it. It's flat shipping in Australia, and I can't remember what it is in the US, but it's a flat shipping. But even when somebody orders from me, and say they order 5 things, it's usually anywhere from $11 to $19 to post it. So it costs a lot more to post it than I'm actually charging. And of course, I've got to pay for the box, the tissue paper, and all those things. So it's super important to think of that. Hi Joy Blair, how are you, my darling? Welcome to Sunday Chat. I know it's early, but hopefully this comes in handy to everyone to understand a few of these things, because when I started, I just thought, oh, yeah, bath bomb, I'm going to sell $6, charge $6, and I'm going to sell heaps. Well, that doesn't work. And can I tell you, since I was more realistic and charged more, I definitely made more money, that is for sure. Yeah, you got to compare, find the best shipping price. Yeah, Karen, look, the thing, Karen, I'm going to be honest, I don't even look at the shipping. I don't care what someone charges. I really don't. If I want it, I want it. That's it. I really don't care. And I have people that buy one soap from me. So the soap might be, say, $9, and then they pay $9 shipping. If they really want it, they want it. So, and sometimes people just want to try something. So you can't be losing out for yourself, because no business can sustain that long term. You can't just keep giving all these discounts, because eventually you just won't work and you won't be successful. You really have to do all of these things. From South Carolina, hi darling, how are you? One of my dad's best friends came from South Carolina many years ago. His name was Kenny, and I've never forgotten his name. So yeah, but he did come from there. So I do know South Carolina a little bit from all the stories I've heard. So like I said, that's kind of something that we need to talk about. You can also build in your shipping into your product. So it might mean you're going to add a little bit extra onto your product. But the problem with that is, like I said, we've got our bath bomb here. If I want to charge, let's pretend these are $9.95 on my site, just to let you know. So these ones are $9.95. And if I want to put the shipping in this, I would have to charge $9. No one's going to pay $20. So, you also got to be realistic. So that's hard to build that in. But most people will buy a couple things. But the minute you say free shipping, people often just buy one, because they go, oh, well, I just want that one thing, I'll just buy it. Whereas if they have to pay $9, they'll add extra things in. So it's very, very important. Yeah. That's right, lovely. Yeah, somebody's just saying we need to make money. We definitely need to make money. This is not a free show, and this is my full-time job. If I didn't get paid, I'd have a big problem. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it, lovely? It's hard. Like when you're selling soaps and things like that, it's hard because soap's really heavy. And that's what I said, I've seen people sell soap for $4. Sometimes my soap costs more than that to make if I have lots of butters and everything, because mine are very high in butter. And I know a lot of people use glycerins, 3 different butters in. That's a very expensive soap. So when I make a slab of soap, my slab of soap costs me $125 to make a slab of soap. That's really expensive, and that doesn't include the packaging, the boxing, anything else. That's just materials. So, and sometimes I'll only get 50 soaps out of that, so obviously you've got to divide that by your cost, plus add in the cost of, a paper like this, for instance, is roughly about 25 cents to get, one of these done, because I get mine professionally printed. And of course, that doesn't include my time or anything. So you have to make money, like you do. No big business that survived makes no money. You see them, they just fold. So you do need to make money. So be realistic, everybody. There's no good just charging less to beat your competitor, because, and look, years ago, and I did say this in another chat quite some time ago, I was actually at the market. Oh, you love my soap things. Thank you, love. I was at a market, and this lady came up to me and she said, I used to buy bath bombs from a lady that charged $1 a bath bomb. She said, there's no way I would ever pay your price. And I said, well, that's okay. No problem. Just go back to your friend that you're buying from. And she said, oh, well, she went broke. I mean, of course she went broke. You can't sell a bath bomb for $1. And then I said to her, well, that's really sad, but that's why she went broke, because you can't make money on a $1 bath bomb. And I said, my bath bombs cost more than $1 to make. So, so that's what I mean. If somebody ever says that, don't think to yourself, oh, now I have to lower my price. You do not. She's not your target market. And my target market is not someone, doing that either. Exactly, Karen. It's just ridiculous. $1, nobody can make any money. And it's the same as, one of my daughters, as many of you know, has her own company. And she sells her products cheaper, but the thing is, she sells massive bulk of them. So as she said, she can sell hers for a couple dollars less, but she's selling well over $100,000 worth of earrings. So whereas someone else might sell $20,000, so they need more money, more percentage than she would. So that's what I mean. You kind of have to work out what your percentage rate is, what your cost of goods are. And cost of goods, like I said, also means, your rent that you're paying. If you've got a factory or a shop, you might need to charge more money, and the thing is, if you make your product look super good, people will pay. Now, I'm going to show you something else talking about that. So here is my old, lotion. Obviously, we've been using this one. But, this is what it used to look like. Okay, so it looks okay. It's nothing bad about that. But I decided I just wanted that luxury. So then I went to these bottles and, got these professional labels made. So you can see they're professionally done. You can charge double the amount. No one is going to pay $40 for this, but this is what I charge for. I think these are $35. And it's in a beautiful glass bottle. They look really gorgeous and so on. And then I do have another one that's $50 a bottle. The $50 bottle one has a lot of very expensive ingredients. And that's the thing. You might buy a lotion that is literally just water, oil, and the emulsifier. That's it. Whereas, you might buy one from me that has, I have lots of different products, from your vitamin B to your vitamin E's in it. Of course, I do have water and floral waters and I actually buy them already pre-made floral waters, so they're much more expensive. Things such as glycerin, pomegranate seed oil, all those things. So that's what I mean. There is no comparison to, me charging $30 compared to someone charging $10, because the $10 one is probably a fine lotion, but doesn't have all the elements that I put into mine. So you just need to add up and remember that your cost is different to your next door neighbors. That is super, super important. And as I did say before, we're talking, and I'm sorry I'm looking down, but I'm looking at my notes. Otherwise, I will forget. But as I said, it's super important just to remember, look at your product. Look at what you're doing. So for me, and also this is super important to everybody. When I first started, I did not charge the price. So my soap here, like I said, is, I think it's about the $9 mark. But when I started, I think it was $6. And as you get more known, as you get better at what you're doing and better formulating, you need to put your price up because you need to know your worth. And paying for something goes on your worth. So I did talk about this another week as well, but I did go to Mecca and a couple other shops like that, and I seen this beautiful candle. Like, it was a lovely brand. The candle jar looked just stunning. It had a debossed jar, which means their label was on it and debossed out of the jar. And I've seen some with embossing and so on. Now, it was beautiful. Now, this candle was $600. It was huge price, but it was a massive candle. It was very big. It was, I think, a kilo or something. Anyway, it was a huge jar, but I was shocked. I almost dropped it seeing the price on it. But you've got to remember, this is a brand that has spent millions of dollars, branding themselves, getting themselves out there. They're made in France and, all these things. It's the same as if you say made in Australia, you generally will get more money than if it says made somewhere else. So because, Australia is known for its green goods and, it's clean living and things like that. A lot of people here do not use animal byproducts in their products as well. It's, there's a lot of that kind of here. So that's what I mean. You're paying for all different things. And when I went into Mecca, I actually wanted, like a rouge, like a cream rouge. So when I went in there, and then the lady, she gave me the most expensive one straight away. And I said to her, does this have animal cruelty in it? And she said, yes. And I said, well, I don't want that. Do you have a clean living one? And then I ended up having to pay more money, which I was fine to pay more money. I said, I'll pay extra. I don't care. I just don't want animal products in it. I'm not a vegan, but that's just how I am because I love animals and I just didn't want to use that. So anyway, like I said, that it's kind of that kind of thing that, sometimes you just got to pay extra for extra things. So it's really important just to think about all those things when you're doing your cost of goods. Now, if you want your products to be cheaper, you know, and you think, well, you're not going to get the money in the area you live in, the first thing you can do is either try and, you know, sell online to other areas where you can ship to, or you can think about how you're going to lower your goods, your cost of goods. So lowering it might be a cheaper material. If you're happy to use a cheaper material in Australia, I mean, the cost is to get stuff here because we're so far away. Just doesn't matter what you get, it just costs extra money. You know, it's just the way it is. And I was telling one of my lovely friends in the US, Pam, this the other day. I said about the jojoba oil I was buying. She was shocked because she literally got 4 times the amount in the US that I could get here for the same price. But yeah, but like I said, lowering your goods, your cost of goods, you know, can be your materials, or maybe you want to get, you know, if you want to get printing like this, maybe you're going to have to save up and get thousands done rather than 400. So for instance, I think this cost me 46 cents a box, or maybe it was 50. Anyway, we'll say 50 cents a box. But if I had have got only 100 boxes, this was going to be $2 a box. I ordered 3,500, so it is a lot of boxes, but I just saved up the money and got that. Rather than getting everything I wanted, I thought, look, I'll just pay extra so that I can lower that. Otherwise, I would have had to charge $13 for a shower steamer, and I wanted to charge under 10. So it's super important as well. Yeah, it is funny, isn't it lovely? Somebody's just saying, wow. And that's what I mean. Your cost of goods are really, really different depending where you live. So I never judge what somebody else charges for their product because I understand, you know, that it depends on, you might be a small maker too. And remember that when we're seeing massive lotion companies, they're making millions of lotions every year where I might only make 500 lotions. So I need to charge more money. Like when I also make my lotions like this, I make them in batches of 4. That's all I make, so that it's coming out pretty good. And often when somebody buys something from me, I make it that day and send it the next day or the day after. So that's what I'm saying. You know, sometimes they're going to get something that's just made that, you know, within a day or two, depending on timing. If I have it, of course, they get it. But, you know, I never keep anything here for longer than a few months. So, except for soap, because soap's a bit different. But that's what I'm saying. It's super, super important just to understand that the cost of goods is not just the money value. It's not just all of those things, but it's, you know, like I said, and also if you have staff member, that's something I just thought about then, you know, you need to pay more. I've got friends that have staff members they pay for, so they need to charge more on their products as well. Yeah, that's right, Rainbow. It is all about the personal touch, as she was saying, you know, and it's just about that extra. So if, for instance, if you buy a product from me, I wrap it in my own branded tissue, like I've had to pay extra for that tissue, and a box, and it just has a pink thank you sticker, and it just looks really lovely, and it comes along with a little flyer and so on. And that's what I mean. And at the moment, I'm actually making up some little miniature books. So in the future, my things will come with these little miniature books, which will have my products on them. Hi, Suzanne, my love. Welcome, darling, to Sunday Chat. So, and that's what I'm saying. All of these things cost money, and it's okay, you know, and this is one thing I want to say to everyone. It's absolutely okay for you to charge more money than someone else. So you need to tell yourself it's okay to charge that. And look, there are months that sometimes I don't have, you know, more than 1 or 2 sales. But then there's other months where I'll have dozens of sales. So please don't think, oh, I'm just going to charge the least I can and get more money, because then that still means you're going to get less money because, you know, you have to make more products for less. So it's really one of those things. To get the best amount of money, if I'm going to be really, really honest with everyone, honestly, it is paying for professional labels or professional packaging, boxing, because you'll be amazed. Once I started doing these professional ones, it amazed me how many people were actually paying for them. And, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, my little shower steamer is $8. I do not think that is expensive at all from what I've seen on the market for a professionally packaged, like I said, product. And it does have the beautiful gold foil and everything. If you can kind of see, hopefully I'm showing you and you can it's a bit hard to see on here, but anyway, it has the beautiful gold foil. And, you know, that all costs extra money. The gold foil costs extra. It was, I think it was a couple $100 extra just to have that one little line on the edge. So, like I said, it's important. And also remember, if you're doing, you know, things like a market or a festival or something, that costs hundreds of dollars sometimes to actually pay for those events before you sell anything. So you need your products to cover that cost. And that's what I'm saying. If I just say, oh, a bath bomb cost me $2 to make, I'll charge $4, and I'm only going to make $2, it's not enough to cover the entry fee on markets and selling. So yeah, super important. If you want to find out more information, always go over, yeah, presentation is everything, lovely. You're right. Just go over to my Patreon. I do have lots and lots of information over there. I'm always trying to bring out new things, and I do bring out extra videos for them. I'm going to actually do a soap making video for them this week, a new one that I'm formulating, so I will pop that on that website. And there are some videos that I put on there that don't come here, so they're about 50 more a year, I think they get over there. So, but I hope that these Sunday chats do help. I hope you enjoy them, having a little bit of a chat, seeing what I'm talking about. I hope today just understanding a little bit better about your cost of goods, and also appreciating your own worth. You know, this is hard to get to here. Any of you that have started or doing it for a year, 2 years, 10 years, it doesn't matter. I mean, you know, you've got to pat yourself on the back and say you're taking a risk that many people will never do. They would rather just work at a shop or go to work in an office, because it's easy. It's easy to get a paycheck, but it's not easy to do a business like this and always be thinking of, you know, the end dollar and how you're going to make money. So that's one thing that I have to say. Just always be, you know, patting yourself on the back and knowing you're doing an amazing job. And like me, at the start, I really got no sales at all, you know, but as time goes on, you make more sales. And even my YouTube, you know, like you see the numbers slowly climbing. And when I say numbers, I mean money numbers, not so much subscribers, because you can have a small amount of subscribers and still earn good money on YouTube. But this is the thing, you know, it took a lot of time to get the YouTube up, to get my Patreon up, and to get sales up and to have recognition. So it's really important, like I said, just to keep going and just realize that, you know, charge the right amount for your products, my friends. It's very, very important. Anyway, I am going to go because my son is trying to ring me. I can see the message, and I hope I have helped you all today. But have an amazing Sunday or Saturday night if you're in the US, because we are Sunday in Australia. And I will see you next time. Bye, friends.